back to Heroes Next Door. Thank you all for joining us today. We are back at Ridge Fire Company in Chester County. We're going to be taking a look at this rescue. It's a 2013 Pierce Aero XT, and we're going to be talking to the captain who's going to walk us through. So today we're going to be meeting back up with Jonathan Brackville. He's the captain of this company, and he loves this truck. Thank you so much for inviting us back out.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, we mentioned before that we wanted to take a look at this truck. Can you explain to me what this truck is and all the cool equipment that comes on a rescue?
Well, this is a Swiss Army knife, really. So this is our rescue. As you said, 2013. It's a puck, so it's also a full pumper engine. And yeah, we cover a lot of stuff so it can handle multiple calls.
Okay, let's start here in the captain's chair. I always call this a captain's chair, or lieutenant, or whatever. What do you have up here? What do you know? This is your workspace.
Yeah, so up here, obviously we have an air pack for the officer. We have a county MDC, so we can get call information, do our status changes and everything here. We get the county radio. This truck also has a Firecom headset system in it, so we can communicate between the driver and the officer. Also allows us to help with backing the truck up.
Okay.
The trucks are big, we don't want to hit anything, so these front two are wireless, so they can get out and guide the truck back. Also, if you're working the pump panel as a driver, you can hear all the radio transmissions and everything. Meanwhile, the guys in the back can also communicate.
That's pretty slick. The one thing that, I've been doing this since 1994, I have a 3% hearing loss in my left ear because of the sirens and everything like that. So having some kind of muff along with a radio system is really good to have.
Yes, it's been really helpful. It's rather new to the truck, and we're just getting used, but it's been nice to have.
Awesome. Okay, so that's pretty much about it for the captain's area.
Yep.
It looks like you can do things on the floor. Is that your?
Yep, we got an air horn and our air horn NQ siren down there, along with electronic up top.
Right. I remember times where I got in a rescue that we were doing in Princeton, and I actually stepped on those on accident.
Yeah, luckily now they've done different interlocks and everything with the parking brake, so it's less likely.
I was just adjusting myself and off the federal queue.
It's happened.
So, all right, so we work our way around. We'll get back here. How many crew members can this carry?
So this truck can hold a total of 6. We have 4 in the back plus driver and officer.
Okay, and each seat has an air pack?
Each seat has an air plus. We have an air pack for the driver on the other side as well.
Okay. All right. Anything specific back here that we need to worry about? You got lights, and do you have any EMS equipment in here?
EMS equipment is actually on the other side, but yes, we do carry some EMS equipment on here. We have some blankets. Well, one thing we also have in here is teddy bears, stuffed animals.
Nice.
A lot of times you get a wreck, and if a kid's involved, they might be a little frightened or everything. So we found handing out some teddy bears can help calm them down.
Right.
Parents as well.
Yeah. Kind of thinking outside the box here.
Yeah.
All right, so you got some cross lays.
Yep, so we got our cross lays here. One thing we have, these are in speed lay trays, and then we also keep an extra set of speed lay trays back here already packed up with the hose, so if the truck's out, comes back, we can quickly get the truck reset. Meanwhile, the guys, training nut or something can wash the hose, hang it.
Right. We're seeing that more and more popular, those speed trays.
It's been very helpful because, you're at a fire for a few hours, you come back and, the guys want to get cleaned up and go home, and you want the truck back in service.
Right.
So
that, and you can use better space because you don't have to come from the top and lay it in like the old days.
Nice level here you can pull out. I'm tall, but, shorter people can get to the lines just as well. We have our Stokes basket here.
Okay.
Little giant ladder, and then this is just quick dead lay, using the space, quick dead lay of some supply hose.
Nice. Okay, working away. Got it. So this looks like your rescue cabinet.
It's one of them.
Okay.
So we have a portable set here, a portable Hamatro set here, along with some rams, combi tool cutters, and then we have all of our different hose lengths color-coded here. Sawzall, airline.
So can we pull this tray out?
Sure.
We'll show the viewers what this is. This is basically what we consider the jaws of life, right?
Yeah.
This is what, when you think of television or you think of EMS, like, oh, we got to get the jaws of life. That's what these two things are.
Yes. You got,
Oh.
you got your spreading capability and a cutting, and then also here's just a large O cutter too for more beefier, newer cars, everything, newer metals they require.
Okay.
New technology to cut them.
Now, I've noticed that you still have the hydraulic hoses. You got to connect it to your pump. You got to connect it together. A lot of people are starting to go to electric.
Yep.
How do you guys kind of do this?
We got a little treat for that on the other side, I'll tell you.
Okay. All right. It's good to see. It's very well organized. You got a pre-connect electric line?
Yep.
Okay.
You got some extinguishers here, along with a manual pedal cutter here and a rabbit tool, as from spreading if you need to spread a jam or anything like that.
Okay.
This is more of our high angle, low angle setup here. We got our different bags of all of our carabiners and hookups, and also we have some pre-ready pulley systems already set up. So bag, we got our life safety rope, full body harnesses, and then we have our winch here, which we keep inside to keep everything nice, but also we have different points all around the truck that we can hook into.
Okay, so it's not designated to just the front. You don't have to nose in. You can get it where you need to be.
It's got to be portable. You can take it up, put it in the receivers, and they're all tied to the frame of the truck, so it's a good anchoring point to pull from.
Okay. Now, I noticed right away that you have multiple things. It's not just a vehicle rescue.
No.
You're doing angle rescue, stuff like that. What kind of coverage area do you cover? Is it more rural? Is it more suburban?
It's both. So we cover 29 square miles in northern Chester County, and we have everything from some suburban setups, some small retail, but then also goes into some rural areas where it's steeper terrain, lower, valleys, limited access dirt roads, and things like that, that we have to cover a wide berth of things from some industrial rescues that we've ran to traditional equestrian rescues and things like that.
Sure. And me traveling up here, I came up 23, but you also have 724, Route 100, which is all pretty thick thoroughfares.
They've had their share of some nasty wrecks over the years.
Right. So I'm glad you have these tools for sure. What else do you have?
Let's take a look.
That looks fun.
Yeah, so we have a full complement of saws. We have our cut-off saw here with a diamond blade on it, so we can do masonry and things like that.
Is this what they would typically call a K12?
Yeah, K12 for those the brand specific.
Yeah.
We got a rescue saw that can be used for venting a roof.
Okay.
And also cutting into small tin and things like that. And then we have a traditional chainsaw in the back for trees and brush.
So how does this guard work? Does this move up when it?
Yeah, so on the other side there's a slide, and you can slide it back, set your depth, lock it down.
That way you're not plunging too far into whatever you're going.
Yeah, exactly. The last thing you want to cut is the joist that you're standing on.
That's pretty slick to see.
And then in here we have air bottle storage all around the truck.
Okay. And I think the NFPA regulations, you have to have 2 bottles for every rider on the truck.
Correct. So you have the bottle that's in the pack plus a spare bottle on the truck.
Okay. Yeah. And then back here's your cribbing, it looks like, and some of your stabilizing equipment. Love the way that's organized there. Pull out tray. And what are these?
So these are junkyard dogs or rescue struts.
Okay.
It is the non-brand specific, but junkyard dogs we refer to. So you can set these up for vehicle on its side, vehicle on its roof. If you need extra stabilization just to tighten down the vehicle. We have 4 of the large ones, and we also have 2 of the smaller ones. And then within the bags comes a complement of anchoring things to the base of the vehicle, ratchet straps, so you can tighten it all in.
Okay, that makes sense. And then you have wood cribbing here.
Yes.
And how do you get up behind that mesh? You just got to pull it down?
It's just Velcro.
Okay.
Real quick, you can open up, and you got traditional step chalks. We have chains, rescue chains, and everything on the other side.
Okay.
One thing that we utilize a lot, pick the wrong one. We have is the auto cribs.
Okay. How does that work?
So in a traditional setup in a sedan, a lot of times these would be used. Go underneath your stabilization points. You can unlock it. It's spring loaded.
Oh, wow.
It'll spring up to the car, and then usually through a really slight lift, you lock it in so it's point. What's really nice is if you're rolling a dash or something where the base of the car might start to move, these will follow.
Oh, okay.
Keeping it tight.
Right, because it's got the spring in there.
Yeah. and they'll go up this, and then also we have some larger ones for trucks, vans, and stuff like that. They'll go a little higher.
Right. I don't think we've ever seen that before. That's a pretty
Yeah,
slick
it's
tool to
really
have.
nice. It allows for quick stabilization, and with a spring loaded and everything, it'll rise with the vehicle. If the vehicle does shift a little bit, versus traditional step chocks going around.
Yeah, you always got that safety officer walking around checking it out all the time.
And then when we're ready to take it out, you just, pull it up, lock it back in place, and we're good to go.
Very cool. All right, so that brings us to the back of the truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And because this has water on it,
Yeah.
you have inlets.
Yeah, so that is a direct tank fill, or also we can at the pump house switch it over to be a direct intake into the pump.
Okay.
So a lot of times, if this is down a driveway to attack a fire or something like that, our tanker will come in behind it, 5-inch line right into the rear. It has an MIV valve on it, so it allows the tank starts getting low, automatically opens up and refills the tank. So just a little less thing for the driver to have to worry about. Allows the driver to get the hand line set and get everything that everyone's looking for.
Yeah, because that job is pretty difficult and very crucial to make sure that people are getting the supplies that they need, making sure they get the stuff off the truck in a reasonable amount of time.
Correct. So it's one less thing you have to worry about in maintaining water supplies.
Back here, I see you got a ladder.
Yep.
There's stuff up top. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But what's behind door number 1 and number 2 here?
Yeah, so this is a booster line.
Oh, okay.
And this also, for this truck, you saw there's no tailboard. So
right.
On the puck design, they have.
Oh, you can stand right on that.
And it gets me up.
And this would be your main hose underneath it.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
This is the main hose bed.
Okay, so you got your 5-inch and
5-inch, and then we also have some extra cribbing for the larger cribs.
Okay.
And everything in there.
All right. And a booster reel or a trash line. People call it different things.
Yep. One thing we do have special on this truck is here's 2 more hookups for amateur tools.
Okay. So you don't have to pull out the necessary
No,
portable.
so this truck has 2 electric pumps up top that are dual pumps, so they can run 4 lines. Each one of those is plumbed to a separate pump, so you're not pulling the same fluid.
Right.
Especially if you're using rams, you take a lot of fluid.
Sure.
We don't want to drain one pump down totally, so each one it goes to a different pump, so a different reservoir of fluid. And so we can take the same lines, plug into there, and then we also have 2 more off the front bumper.
That's a great idea. Glad to see that. So what do we got up top? I'm not going to climb up there right now, but we'll show the audience. Describe to me what you have up there.
So up there we have additional rescue stuff, but things that aren't used quite as often. We have our full airbag setup up there for the high pressure lift bag. Like I said, we have larger, the 36-inch 6x6 cribbings. We have more absorbent material for absorbent pigs, absorbent pads, additional oil dry. We have our water rescue gear up there, along with some additional chains and heavy duty rescue stuff.
Okay.
Things that aren't typically used
on a regular basis.
But
okay.
we want to make sure the truck has them.
That makes sense. And then you can do, when you get that heavy rescue, you have the time, you have the personnel, you can go up and get those down as needed.
Correct. And one thing that this truck also has up top, if you notice, there's no ladders down here.
Right.
So all of our ground ladders are up there. It's called ladder gantry.
Okay.
It allows us it comes out, comes down, and it puts the ladders right here for you.
Okay.
So we have a 24-foot, a 14-foot ladder up there, along with an attic ladder and pike poles.
Nice. Okay. And then working our way around.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to say this is one of the most used compartments for accidents. You have our quick deployment of oil dry here.
Sure.
Our brooms and shovels.
Yeah.
And we have our traditional hand tools, axes,
right,
bolt cutters.
You also have your elevator key, your hydrant tools, everything else like that too.
Yeah, and then we have a small electric battery-operated blower there for some larger scenes you have to clear off. We also have a much bigger gas-powered backpack blower up top.
Okay. I love how everything gets mounted in a fire truck.
Yes.
I always think of, I look at some of the European trucks, and they just it looks like they just kind of shove it in the compartment.
Yeah.
Where we tend to, put it on a rack.
You want to be able to see it. You have volunteer department, you have different people riding the truck from call to call. So as much as everyone loves to train on the truck and get used to and familiarize yourself before you have to go to emergency, in the heat of the moment, a visual showing of the truck, and easy to see, easy to pull, really helps in
right.
getting things to you in a quick manner. We also have scene lights here, some And then we also have some larger high-powered portable lighting here
Okay.
too.
Okay. And this board too, it's almost like a cork board or a pin board that you can change this
Yeah.
as your tools change.
Yeah, so it allows for adjustability without having holes all over the thing. They're purposely there to allow for that. We have our electric PPV fan as well.
Okay.
And then here is that treat I showed you for our electric.
A backpack. Okay.
Backpack, yeah.
So how does that work? What is that about?
So inside here is a Homatra battery pack, which is to a small hydraulic pump.
Okay.
And then one thing that we can do is any of our tools work with it.
Wow. Okay.
So I can take the spreader here.
Okay.
That would be used with the pump there, a pump on the truck.
Sure. That was an easy clip.
Yeah.
Nice, quick.
Push of a button, you hear the pump kick on.
Okay. And it's into service just that quick.
Yep.
Do you seem to have any lack of power when using it?
Actually, no. It's actually a little faster because the fluid's traveling through less area.
Right.
The only limit we have with this is larger rams. We really shouldn't, because this doesn't have the reservoir.
Okay. Okay.
But
for those
if you're
quick
working
jog
inside
away,
where you can't have a gas-powered unit, or for some reason we would have a we'd have a pile-up or remote extrication. You know, this is very self-contained. It's a backpack.
Right.
And everything. So we could load this up, put it on the ATV.
You could even do it in a confined space kind of area because you don't have that exhaust.
We have a very similar setup on our first-in engine. It has more of a drag bag instead of a backpack.
Right.
So if it has to go into structure, like you said, or a confined space.
What's really cool about this, though, is I know a lot of people are switching over to electric, but that's a huge expense.
Yes.
You know, switching over all your tools, getting rid of that kind of stuff. This is a good transition. It's almost that hybrid vehicle.
It's a hybrid too, because the other thing that you might not realize as well is these trucks, like you said, the tool mounting, they're designed for what we have here. So it's not just swapping out the tools, it's maybe swapping out the mounting and everything, which is additional expense and everything, and maybe deployment of the truck.
Right.
You can keep everything gelling and everything by working in new technology. It really helps.
Yeah. Well, kudos to Homatra. Kudos for you guys, you know, figuring this out and using this kind of technology.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we haven't seen before. That's pretty slick to do.
Yep, no problem.
So I got a real quick question for you, though. If I wanted to volunteer here, because this is a cool truck, I would love to run on this truck. How do I go about volunteering at your service?
So the best way is to come up on a Tuesday night. It's our drill night after 7 p.m. There's guys here you can meet. We can take you a tour of the station. We also have our website and our Facebook page to reach out to us on. The applications are there. And, you know, we do standard background checks and everything like that. But there's something for everyone at a volunteer firehouse.
Do I have to be a certain age to join the firehouse?
16 is where we start as a junior, and then work your way up. We have a lot of members that go through the Octorara program, and that's been real helpful, where they get their training during school.
Nice.
And then we also have close proximity to Berks County, Chester County, and Montgomery County for their fire academies.
Okay. So for you viewers out there, if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, definitely stop down on Tuesday night. I'm sure they'll take care of you.
And then this is the brains of it, as we say.
Okay, this is the pump panel.
This is the pump panel. Now with a puck setup, there's not a traditional pump house.
You're right.
It's all integrated into the body, so it allows us to keep a wheelbase shorter on it.
Okay.
And also a little bit more storage. We keep this open here for the driver's gear.
Okay.
So a lot of times they're coming in, we want them to have a space so they can store their gear.
Right. Makes it easier to drive. Been there when you're all geared up, it's very hard to drive.
And we also have a mixture of gear too. Like our guys have rescue coats, are a little lighter weight, you know, not than a structure coat, but also so, you know, it gives a space you can throw multiple things in there.
Right, right. The other fact is it's behind a cabinet. It keeps the pump panel very clean.
Keeps it clean. It also makes keeping the outside of the truck clean as well. It's a lot easier to go down on a flat surface and wash it and dry to save some time.
And getting a call?
Sounds like it.
All right.
This truck's gonna have to go.
Okay. They're getting a call right now as we were filming. So they're getting a elevator rescue, I believe at the local high school, which is kind of unusual. But we're gonna have to pack up for just a moment, but we'll come back and finish the tour once they're done doing their job.
Open the garage door.
So they just got recalled, but we're gonna leave the truck outside here. It's a nice day out, so we're gonna finish up the tour while we're doing it out here. So as I was mentioning before, I love the fact that it's covered. It keeps it real nice and clean.
Yep.
So how does this normally operate? This looks very confusing for people that aren't fire department related.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain how this all works?
It can be very intimidating, but if you keep some things simplified, it really helps you out. So the truck has a 750-gallon tank on it of water,
Okay.
and then it has the pump. So the biggest thing you have to do is get the water from the tank to the pump. So we have a lever for that.
Okay. Open and
That brings-
close.
So that brings that water supply in. From there, everything up here is a discharge. So that's all water going out. So then, and we have these all color coded to match our hose colors.
Okay.
So we know easy when they call on the radio saying increase the pressure on the yellow line. You know, it's very simple, especially middle of the night. You know, you want to keep everything simple. This truck also has a compressed air foam system on it. So that allows us to put Class A foam in there with air to help spread the water out and also be more effective on the fire. So that's controlled here, and then through these little buttons here just induces the air into those lines.
Okay. Okay. And this is your fill line for your foam. Do you have an indicator about how much water you have on?
So if the ignition was on, everything, this would be lit up here. This
Okay.
is also our governor that we can set a pressure and then go from there.
Right, right. Yeah, nice, easy. It looks intimidating, but once you figure it out and you work with it a couple times,
Yeah.
it seems pretty easy.
Yeah.
All right.
And then this is the other side of the hose cross lays.
Okay.
But
So
on
you
this-
can pull those in and out from either side.
Either side. This one, we have our blue line set up to deploy on the driver's side, and our yellow line sets up. And one thing we have across all of our trucks is blue and yellow are set up that exact same way, and they're the same lengths.
Okay.
Stokes basket, within there we also have some rigging in there for if we had to hoist the Stokes basket.
Okay.
And then oil dry.
Yep. So
Lots
you got
of oil
oil dry on one side and on the other side.
And back there and up top. This here is what we traditionally it'd be in the pump house, but with a puck setup, it's kept under here to shorten our wheelbase up. This is our main intake here. This is a manual gate, so we can bring water in, bleed the air out, open it up, so pump operations don't have to stop. These are just additional discharges here, and then we have another inlet here for just smaller hose.
Okay. Okay. So you would just basically take that cap off, hook it to a hydrant, or hook it to whatever
A tanker
float-
maybe
yeah,
supplying us. Yep.
hook that up there and then let it flow in. Then that's how you fill the tank,
Yeah.
which then goes to this pump, and then this goes back out.
Correct.
It's a big circuit.
That's all it is.
Man.
This truck also has a light tower on top, and then we control that right here.
Okay.
They give us a nice cutout here. It's mounted here with a long cord, so we can stand out, make sure there's no obstacles in the way and everything, and get that position exactly how we need it to light a scene up.
And you mentioned it before. This is pretty much the Swiss Army knife of your department. And no joke, it's got everything that you need
It does.
to take care of fire, to take care of rescue, and everything else in between.
Yep. No, we're really proud of the design of this truck. It's worked out well, and it'll work with us well into the future, too.
Okay. Now, I noticed you got a pretty large bumper up front. Let's go up there, talk about that before we end, because there's some unique things up here, too, right?
Yep.
Love the Federal Q.
Yeah, we want to make sure we have real Q on there.
Yeah.
So we have more rescue tools.
Okay.
So up here we have 2 more hoses. We have a spreader, a smaller cutter, and here's our ports up front here that we can hook to. So we can literally nose into a scene. Got 32 feet of hose here, hook up and work.
So does the engineer then turn on the pump, or is the pump always on?
So we have switches at the pump panel there that allow us just one click. We have the generator on. This has a 30 kW Kubota diesel generator on it.
Okay.
And then we have just a couple switches. It's on, pumps are on, and good to go.
Nice. And you got a little trash line or a forestry line?
Yeah, so we have 150 feet, 1.5-inch line up here. Allows us to for a car fire. You know, we have the booster line. We also have that. And just if you don't need to deploy a long line, you know,
right.
Whole idea is to get the situation under control, get it stabilized, and then get the truck back in service.
Awesome, awesome. And then this is where all the
yeah, so this is one of those anchor points here, and then here's our power
for your winch. Yeah.
Yep.
John, thank you so much for taking us around this truck. This was absolutely gorgeous. It's very informative. We saw a couple of cool things that we haven't seen on any other trucks.
Yep.
So hopefully people are inspired. Thank you all for watching. This was another Station Rigs with the Ridge Fire Company out of Chester County. Before we end, do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit that notification, make a comment below. What kind of tools would you like to see on a truck like this? And as we end, as always, stay safe and take care of each other.